Hi everyone, I'm Sophie Milburn, editor of the MSP Channel Insights portfolio, and today I'm joined by Nancy from GTIA. Nancy, could you introduce yourself, your role at the company, and a little bit about the company itself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Sophie. Good to be with you today, this morning here in New York. And hi to everybody listening. I am GTIA's Chief Channel Officer. And basically, what that means is that I am industry facing. I am representing the organization and driving all things growth for the organization, growing membership, driving strategic partnerships, growing GTIA's visibility and relevance and impact in the market.
Fantastic. And what would you say are your kind of top three priorities in your first year in this role?
Growth, value, and impact. So, growth of all things. And that sounds pretty predictable, I guess, for any executive for an association or organization. But honestly, GTIA is like a new association. We've recently rebranded from CompTIA. And when we were CompTIA, we really had two focuses. One was driving the training and certification side of the business, which was the revenue stream for the association. And that's really where we put a lot of resources for growth. And it was a really good strategy because we got to the point that we grew that business so successfully, we were able to sell off the assets and have the proceeds be an endowment for the association. And now the association, for the first time in its history, has a singular focus on growth of the association. So growth of membership, growth of relevance, growth of our presence and our visibility out in the market. And we're making a lot of investments in the association that will lead to more value for our members. We're really making sure that folks get a return, not only on their investment, our membership dues are really pretty low, but just the return on the energy you put into belonging to an association, right? It's a lot of, give and take, and people have very limited time and resources and bandwidth. So we want to make sure every engagement drives value for them. And then ultimately, the impact that we have on the industry. Because at the end of the day, that's our job, is to be advocates for the global IT channel. We are the Global Technology Industry Association. There is a lot happening in our world right now.
Yeah,
And
a
we
lot
want
of
to make
change.
sure, yeah, we want to make sure that our members are getting the value they need to be successful and on point in this time of innovation and evolution and acceleration and all of that, so that we can contribute in a meaningful way to the industry, as we're pushing forward.
Yeah. And how do you hope to kind of balance such growth with kind of keeping that member first approach that you've got?
Yeah, so really good question. And I think being member first is the key to it all. We are a global association and we have regional communities all over the world in ANZ, UK and I, DOC, Benelux, ASEAN, and then North America. And we understand that every region has a different dynamic. Some regions might be a little bit ahead on their managed services businesses. Some might be a little bit ahead even on AI or SaaS solutions, and different economies, different vendors and distribution channels in each market. So we have to make sure we're listening to the members, really being engaged in that market and understanding what the dynamics are, what the trends are. We now do our State of the Channel annual research study with slices for every region. So we can really get some data and insight on what is happening, like what is driving the channel in those regions. And then listening to the members, what do they need? Where are they in their business life cycle? Where are they in the AI life cycle, right? And what do they need? So member first really means, listening to what the members in that community, in that region need, and then applying those resources specifically for them. It can't be one size fits all and everybody come and help yourself. And it's just not going to be relevant across every region. So member first just really means listening, making sure we're producing the resources, the initiatives, the projects, the assets that are needed in that region, and then making sure that they're engaging with it and consuming it and that it's actually making a critical difference in their day-to-day business.
Fantastic. And I feel like you have kind of touched on my next question slightly, but I wanted to see if you maybe want to elaborate on it a little bit. That what kind of new value can solution providers and vendors expect from GTIA in 2026? Yeah.
We've actually been incorporating quite a few sessions on mental health and just recognizing the pressures that people are under every day. We all come into our jobs with some challenges in managing our mental health, and then the nature of our industry and the fast-paced work and the demands of it only put more pressure on it. So we've been acknowledging it and talking about it and encouraging people to talk about it. Um, I've been working on the skills shortage for quite some time. And the first thing I'll say is it's not really a skills shortage, and we've been saying this for a long time. It's a shortage in confidence. It's a shortage in understanding, right? And the generation coming up sometimes has some misperceptions about what the technology industry is all about. And they think it's still all about coding and sitting at a laptop in a dark room and just
Yeah.
banging out a keyboard. And that's not it at all. And we have a responsibility to be role models. A lot of times we hear from young people that decide not to go into tech that they just don't know anybody in tech. It seems to be such a closeted kind of industry. And not true at all. Like we'll say, like, don't you know people that work at Amazon? They're in a tech industry, or people that work at Facebook or Google or IBM. And sometimes they want to work for all the big sexy companies too. And they think like that's the destination. But working for a small MSP can be incredibly rewarding as you're bringing technology solutions just to your community and your neighborhood. And you have such an opportunity to learn. So the first thing we have to do is address the confidence issue and like be role models and encourage the next generation on all of the positive attributes and benefits of being in the tech industry, right? So we've actually formed an interest group for the next generation called the Now Gen. Not the next gen, we're calling it the Now Gen because they're already here. And we encourage any young person coming into this industry to marry their passions, their industry passions, with some learned skills in technology. So they may be passionate about the sports industry or the fashion industry or restaurants or hotels, hospitality, government, finance, health, anything.
Uh,
Um, Technology is driving all of that. So if you take some time to understand how technology is driving those industries, I mean, you can score a phenomenal, exciting, lucrative kind of career. So putting the case studies, the stories in front of them, like what the job looks like, and being there's a lot of people like me that have been in the channel a long time. And when you're in a community or an association like GTIA, part of what drives you is giving back and kind of reaching out to the next generation and pulling them in because we've all built great careers here. So leveraging the community. We have a great mentoring program as well, and it's gone global very quickly. And we have hundreds of members participating in it, whether they're young in their career or maybe new in their career or stuck in their career, assigning them, with a mentor that's there to encourage them and be their coach and be their champion, super helpful. And I'm still learning. Like we had our UK and Ireland community regional meeting 2 weeks ago, and we had a panel and we were talking about how AI is disrupting the whole workforce, right? And um, this is where you can learn from the members of GTIA and the blogs that we share and the videos that we'll be doing and the storytelling on we're very quickly going to replace all the technicians that are doing break fix with AI. It can be very predictable, it can be very programmed, very automatic. What's happening is what's still going to make a difference is the human spirit and the human strategy and the human interaction. So, how can we help to cultivate the right soft skills or strategy skills with those technicians that they are solving bigger problems, right? Or being more proactive in what AI can do. So trying to understand AI may displace some jobs, but it's also creating jobs. There's going to be tons of new data roles, AI roles that people should be moving themselves into. And being part of an association or a community will give you that direction, will give you that network. One of the biggest things people use an association for is to build their network. And when they're looking for a role or a position or advancement, leveraging that network. But what I learned last week was so interesting. People were asking, should I try to train my existing staff on the AI solution or hire new? And the member said, you got to hire new. You got to hire the young generation, the digital natives, the folks that get leveraging technology for day-to-day interactions, right? And they're just so much more fluent in it. And it's just kind of a little bit more natural for them, right? But along those lines, and this is a tip for the listeners, they were saying, don't hire off of a CV anymore because AI is producing all the CVs, and AI will produce a CV specifically for a role that will take somebody that worked in a completely different industry doing a completely different role, but grabbing a few keywords and saying, oh, perfect match for this
Yeah.
technician role, right?
Yeah.
So what they were recommending is the way we hire people is going to change. And there, some companies are not even asking for a CV anymore. They're asking you to set up a 10-minute, send in a 10-minute video that,
Right.
you tell about yourself a little bit. Maybe
Yeah.
you can show how you're working through a solution from, the diagnostic end to the resolving with the customer end. What are their soft skills? What are their customer service skills? Give them an assignment on something to produce for you in video, and you'll really get to know the person, right? Or just have an interview like this without the CV. You're going to lose so many good people if you just rely on that. It weeds out people that are really good, and it's going to bring forward people that have been designed to be a perfect match. That's kind of a false security on their ability for the role. So just
Yeah.
working with the community and keeping your network strong and like learning all these like like new tips and all. And we're really proud of the fact that we have a very strong foundation at GTIA. A big part of our mission is philanthropy and giving back, and GTIA gives. And we are encouraging our communities and empowering them with dollars to benefit local nonprofits, local after school programs, local academic programs that have a technology focus where we can help spark that interest. I mean, even in elementary schools, middle schools, after school
Yeah. Need
programs,
that there.
nonprofit programs, right?
Yeah. And I can tell you're so passionate about what you do. So after, after 40 years in the industry and being with GTA, what would you say you're kind of most excited about coming up in the next few years?
Oh my gosh, endless possibilities, Sophie, endless possibilities. So I have seen it all. I've been working in the industry before we had fax machines and we each had our own dedicated terminals, right? And everything from the advent of the internet, which opened up information for us. And then it was networking, which connected everybody. And then it was cloud, which helped us store data. But there was almost like a finite solution to all of that. Like we understood what it could accomplish, and it was just very finite, right? I feel now with AI, it's infinite. We can build an AI agent to solve almost any problem. Of
Mhm.
course, we have to be responsible and we have to build guardrails and we have to be ethical, and everybody's got to be super responsible in using AI. But every day that I talk to somebody, AI is solving some new problem. On a personal level, I had a family member battling with stage 4 terminal cancer, and through AI, they were able to find a treatment for her so she could live with stage 4 cancer for nearly 2 years on a personal level, right? But like on a business level, how we can use AI to drive our marketing, to drive successful sales and driving more efficiency, driving more effectiveness, all of that. And I also heard something that if we embrace AI like we should, and you were talking about burnout earlier and all like that, um, I heard from an executive at our UK and I regional meeting that he would not have been able to even come to that event or speak on a panel a year ago until he brought AI into his business that automated a lot of his day-to-day work. And he said, now for the first time, I can breathe. AI is automating a good amount of the work. It's driving profit for me. I can go to my son's soccer match. I can go to my daughter's ballet class. I can go to the gym. I can have dinner with my family. Um, people are a little bit afraid of what AI can do and how it's changing the world, but I think we need to embrace the positive impact that it can have as well. And yeah, this is a technology and innovation and all that I feel is limitless. We have to harness it so it's safe and it's secure. And it's going to bring a lot of business opportunity to our market in doing that. But I think we have to embrace the possibilities of AI and the problems it can solve and kind of the new qualities of life that it can bring to us on many levels. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a fantastic conversation. That's all my questions. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I hope to see you soon at one of your events.